breakfast, bacon, bagel, and poached egg, or it's a cooked egg that I cook in an actual pan. Now, it's actually quite clever, but it's a one-pot thing. It's enough for 4 people. Now, what I've got are these plain bagels here, and I'll just move these out of the way. Now, what I do with the sharp knife, you just go through the last little bit like that to open them up. And then, Rosie, what I'm going to get you to do is to open them up with a cutter. So I'll turn them this side down, and with the cutter, right in the middle like that, just push that down like this, and then cut out the hole there. Now, what I've got is some bacon here, some beautiful speck bacon that's got lovely bits of fat on it. This is the stuff that makes everything tasty.
Supper champion,
and I'll just take a slice of it. Now, every now and again, what I do is I go to my doctor and he says, Richo, you can only have 1 piece of bacon. So I make sure it's a nice thick one like that, because you want to make it nice and tasty. I'll pop this over here so you can get it, iron it for me, Rosie. And what I'm going to do with the bacon, I'm going to cut it into little strips like this. And this is going to be lovely because it's almost like little strips of bacon that I'm going to crisp up and then pop on top of it. Now, this is going to go into a pan. I'm also going to throw in there some pepperoni. It's almost like a pizza bagel, if you sort of get the idea. Perfect for breakfast. I do, because you said to me before that breakfast is also something you might have at night time. So I'm thinking this is almost...
Customised it for me, didn't you?
Yeah, no, a pizza bagel, almost. Anyway, now what I'm going to do is just let that sweat a little bit, and that'll render down nicely. It takes about 5 minutes.
Yep.
But at the same time, what I'm going to do is get some butter. If you pass me one of the butter knives over there, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to toast my bagel, because the most important thing when you are using bagels is you toast them. And you don't just have to toast them in a toaster. You can also toast them in a pan. I've got a lovely pan here that's on a nice low heat. I'll turn that up to about a medium temperature. And what I'm going to do, Rosie, is toast these face side down in the butter until they're nice and golden. Now, what I'm going to do is get you to do the spinach. You can see I've done the first one there. You put a bit of spinach in the bottom of it, and that sort of makes a snuggly little hole for the egg to sit on.
Snuggly.
Exactly. And what I do is get the artichoke like this, and I'll sprinkle a little bit of the artichoke around the outside, a little bit of bacon around the outside there. Look at that. I'll save some of that crispy bacon for later on. Now, here is the fun part. If you can pass me those eggs, Rosie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first one so we can see it go in there. What you do is grab the egg, crack it on the actual board there, because they say that the egg cracked on a flat surface doesn't have any shell. And I just crack it into the middle there. You do get a little bit going over the side, but don't worry about that. It all comes together at the end. And what I do with some cheese is I sprinkle some cheese around the outside, which brings it all together. And then another one goes on there like that.
I like it. Simple.
Exactly.
2
Simple,
pans.
easy, 2 pans. Now, the way to cook this is on top of the stove. You could, of course, put it into the oven or on the griller, but what I do is pop it onto the stove here, make sure it's down really low, and pop the lid on, and in about 5 or 6 minutes, the cheese will melt nicely, the egg will be beautifully cooked, we'll have all this cleaned down, we'll be able to plate it up, and we'll be able to enjoy my beautiful bagels with egg, bacon, pepperoni, artichoke, and spinach. Now, I can tell you, Rosie, it's a hell of a lot more interesting if you've got the pepperoni and the bacon on there. Trust me on that one.
So have a taste?
Have a taste of it.
Okay.
Sprinkle a little bit more green on top of it. You can see that yolk is perfect. It's nice and gooey all the way through. And, of course, the cheese, the bacon, the pepperoni. I can't wait for this one. You could tell if you were coming around from my place for breakfast, you wouldn't need to eat anything for the rest of the day. You would have enough energy from this to get you through for the next 2 or 3 days.
I will have to admit, because it is quite decadent, but it tastes delicious. That lovely richness of the cheese with the egg. Very nice, lovely.
And the crunch of the bagel just brings it all together. I reckon this is one of the
Certainly does.
best breakfasts in the entire world.